Bismillah, welcome to Real Talk Podcast here in the Academy Live studio. Today we have a very, very special episode. But firstly, we would like to say a big jazakallah khair for everybody who has been supporting us on Real Talk Podcast. Or everyone that has been sharing our content, liking us, commenting, and also viewing our content. Bismillah, please continue to support us. Help us spread the word. We are a podcast by the community, for the community. And also just remember to subscribe, like, and share. So firstly, just want to welcome back the guests as well, or the hosts. Kaz, Qasim.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Can I ask a question straight up?
Inshallah.
Why are we playing musical chairs and why am I always in the same spot?
We had this discussion before.
Oh, I'm in this one. Makes me look good.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, no, we had this discussion just before.
Is this the latecomer seat, is it? If you're late,
No,
you sit here
no,
and your head's always in the camera.
The thing is, our director, our producer, he said, Adrian, your gut's getting a bit big, so I have to sit over here. And Haji Hassan, he just looks really, really nice.
As always, we've got the goss with us today.
Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
How's it going, Haji?
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah. Busy weekend, busy week. Mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. I'm sure we'll hear all about it today in this podcast.
Yeah, I think we'll get into that a little bit later. Because, yes, subhanAllah, that was two very powerful podcasts that came out over two very powerful live events that came out.
It was, and I think it was warranted for our community.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about community here, I'm talking about a community worldwide.
Yeah.
This thing is happening. But, I think we can all have a bit of a wake-up call for ourselves that we should understand about our own backyard.
Yeah. No. And also, I just want to emphasize the fact that this podcast here is going to be an express podcast. For the first time in Real Talk Podcast history, normally we pre-record all of our podcasts. They go through the whole systems. But today, for this podcast, it'll be express. But without further ado, we will let Haji Hassan introduce our next guest, who we are very, very honoured to have on.
Well, as we may be aware or may not be aware, we've got Brother Max here. Brax, a very good friend of the family.
Yes, that's correct.
Of our brother
Shahid Islam.
Shahid Islam that passed away in a tragic situation. Yeah. And I think before we go any further, let's make Fatiha for him. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. Sadaqallahu al-azim. May Allah bless him. May Allah give him Jannat Firdaus, inshallah, and give peace to the family.
Amen.
Now, Brother Max is our special guest today, a very close friend of the family. And inshallah, he's going to give us some information and give us a bit of a rundown from what happened. Because there's so many inquiries, so many people are concerned about the family, concerned that is justice being done. So I thought, what better than bring Brother Max in here to Academy, a live studio, to inform our community. So Max, it's over to you. We won't interrupt you so much, but we will ask you questions. And we do have some questions at the end. So
Yes, sure. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Wa alaikum assalam.
So, I'm Maxi Haque. I am a very close friend of Shahid Islam, who passed away in a tragic accident on Wednesday at Bald Hills on Brisbane North. So he left behind his wife and his 4-year-old son, Sahir. As you may know or you may not know, that he was actually pursuing his Australian dream to build his first home in Australia. So he actually almost completed the home. There was a few bits and pieces of work to be done last minute, and they were actually going to move in on Saturday. Just gone.
MashaAllah. I think one of the first questions, how long has he been in Australia?
So he's been living in Australia for 10 years now.
MashaAllah.
So he's originally from Bangladesh. After he graduated in Bangladesh with an IT degree, he went to Canada, living in Toronto for a few years before migrating to Australia with his wife around 2009, I believe.
And what was his profession?
So he was an IT professional working in one of the organizations here for a long time.
MashaAllah. And what part of the town was he living in?
So he was currently living at Windsor, close to Lutwich, and he was moving to Griffin at Brisbane North, just before North Lakes.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So he was going to work? Was he going to work?
No, he was not going to work, actually. So he came back from work on Tuesday night, and then he went to his new home to do a bit of a clean-up for his household appliances. He was going to get his fridge and washing machine delivered the next morning. So he just went quickly to clean it up and make it ready for them to be delivered, so that they can go to their space where they.
So they must have been in a good space of this is like a really exciting, happy time.
That's it.
You know, anyone moving into a house and getting new appliances, they must have been on a high.
Oh, they have been, definitely. So I spoke to him last on Monday evening when I actually asked him, when you're moving in, you need a hand or anything, and he said that inshallah we will have our first dinner with sleepover at our new home in Griffin on Saturday.
Subhanallah.
So they were actually planning to stay there on Saturday night, and we had a commitment on Sunday night, and we were going to leave our boys with them. And my two boys, Zafir and Zaran, 7 and 4, they were quite excited to spend the time at Uncle Shahid's place with little Sahir as well in the new home, which unfortunately didn't happen. And in fact, after the dua last night at Dara Mosque, when we were coming back, my son still asked me, so when are we going to spend time at Uncle Shahid's place?
Very sad.
So he was a bit upset that it wasn't going ahead, and I said, look, inshallah we'll have that very soon.
So he was heading to the house.
So he finished cleaning around 11:30, and then he was heading close to midnight, and he was heading home to his family at Windsor. And unfortunately, as he was driving on the Gympie Arterial, just from Bruce Highway, past the Gateway exit, and he went into the Gympie Arterial. There was a stolen car approaching in the southbound lane towards going north. So basically in the wrong direction. And they had a head-on collision.
Was this gentleman, I suppose you call him a gentleman, was he being pursued by the police at that time?
I believe so. There has been some video released that stolen car was being pursued by the police. They tried to intercept him at Aspley, I believe. But to be honest, I'm not really sure when or at what point the police stopped the pursuit. I imagine
I think some of the reports was that they stopped during the day or something, or maybe I'm wrong.
Well, they tried. I think they first intercept him around. This is what I've heard, or saw the news, but this is not something officially heard from the police. So please do not quote me. Or they tried. I think they first intercept him around Lutwich, around 11:30, and then they tried to intercept him again and then the video that came out was probably around all the car showrooms around Aspley, and that was after 11:30, and then and that's when they tried to intercept him as well.
So at what point of time did the family receive the bad news?
Well, I received a call around 2:30, to be exact, 2:28 in the morning. I saw his wife calling me, crying, saying that she's devastated. And I thought it was probably her mum, because I know that her mum was a bit unwell maybe a few weeks ago or maybe a month ago. And that's what we expect usually, right? We have our elderly parents back home, and we tend to support our friends and families when these sort of things happen. We lose our parents. She called me around 2:30, and she said that.
So did the police actually contact her direct first?
Yeah, so I think I believe there was a police officer who went to her home.
Wow.
Because I think they must have got the rego and got the address, and they went to her place.
So take us back to the crime scene. So actually after the accident, what actually happened? Were the people hurt in both vehicles, or?
Yes, so there were 3 people in the stolen car.
Okay.
So the car was stolen from Toowoomba, North Toowoomba, and they have been travelling. And it was actually stolen 2 days ago, I believe. And they have been making having their fun ride, and they finally came to Brisbane on Tuesday night. And there were 3 people, 2 male and 1 female. So the male sitting on the passenger side passed away on the spot as well, and I believe the female was injured in that accident, but the driver actually stepped out of the car, and there happened to be a paramedics in the scene as well. They were on the road, and they went to the scene straight away.
Okay.
And the police were not far off, as I believe. And then he got out of the car, he spat on the female police officer, and he tried to run away.
Yes, we heard that. So the officials rang the wife.
They actually went to her home.
And then they contacted you.
She called me. I think
Does she have brothers or sisters here, or does
no? She does not have
family.
No family here.
Right, so that's very hard for her, eh?
Yes. So I think she called me first, and then she handed it over to the police, and the police explained the incident, and it took me good 10-15 minutes to
acknowledge what's happened. Yeah, the tragedy.
Like I just couldn't, and I could see my wife stressed, hoping that it was a bad dream, and then my wife woke up my older boys, Zafar, and then explained to him that we are going to Uncle Shahid's place, and Auntie Jannat is going to be quite stressed, so just don't be stressed and support Sahir, Shahid's son, and I've just got my 2 boys. And
just touching on that real quickly, I just want to know what was the feeling? Can you explain that when you first found out, and when you went into the wife's home?
Well, when I found out, I was basically a bit disoriented for the 5-10 minutes. I was just walking around in the house, and my wife was just trying to calm me down. And then I remember at one point I just sat on my bed, and just my whole body just went cold. Just couldn't believe. And as I said, I was hoping it's a bad dream. And when I was driving, my son was awake, and he was asking me a lot of questions. We were trying to calm him down as well. And then when we got home, look, to be honest, I had no words to give sympathy to the wife. I just couldn't, because I straight away knew that I had a lot of work to do. As I was talking to the police, and that's when exactly I found out from the police that it was a stolen car. Because while I was driving to Shahid's home, I was thinking, he must have been tired or something, and I'm like, there's hardly any people at midnight on the road, and what would have gone wrong? Was it a kangaroo or something that he was trying to save, or someone else made a mistake or something? I know I've driven with him many times, and he's a very safe driver. So he's been driving for a long time as well. He never had an incident like this, but. Yeah, so I was, and then I found out from the police when I got there that this is what happened. I was very angry. I was upset.
Okay, so were you permitted to go to the scene at all?
No, I wasn't.
They didn't.
Oh, look, to be honest, I actually didn't.
No, did they ask?
They didn't ask me.
Okay, fair enough.
No, they didn't ask me to go to the scene either. No.
Okay, so then. So what was the next? What happened then after that? I mean, after the visits to the house, you stayed there all night with the sister, I suppose, with the family.
Yeah. So I got there, and then straight away I started thinking about the next steps, what I need to do. I knew that I have a big job, and not just me, my friends and all Shahid's friends. So I made sure that I actually got some support for myself first. So I called all my friends who are also Shahid's friend as well. Nice. So I called them, and all the family started coming there from 4 o'clock in the morning. So they all have small kids and young kids, but they, irrespective of that, they were getting there to her home and supporting the wife. And then I started calling all of Shahid's close friend who lives in Brisbane, and by 6:30, 7 o'clock, we had a house full of like 20, 25 people supporting. And then I knew, I was preparing myself I knew that the media would be here, and I started thinking about other things as well, how to make sure that we contain our anger. We do not demonstrate any frustration or
Alhamdulillah, that was quite sensible. Now, a few questions people have asked me. Did you have to go and identify the body?
No, I didn't have to. I was actually ready for this as well, to do that. But I think they did a positive identification because when the police came to Sister Janat's place, they actually checked the registration number and checked the address, and they asked for a photo of Shahid. And she had a photo in her phone, and then she showed the photo to the police, and I believe the police had sent it to the police officer at the scene, and that's, I think, when they positively identified him, that it is him.
So let's go forward a bit further. Now, he was taken to... Did they do autopsy on him?
They did autopsy on him, yes. No, so it was done at the John Tong Centre at Mandurah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so they must have done that fairly quick because normally they do take time to do that, but then because the body must have been released to Muslim funeral services after that.
That's correct. So the autopsy was done the next morning at 8:30, completed by around 10:30, and MFS collected the body. I think after 1 o'clock, and then we had the janazah on the night.
Yeah. Okay. Now people ask me the same question: Why was the janazah done on Isha time, or was it Thursday night, instead of waiting for a bigger crowd for Jummah, for after Jummah?
Okay. Look, I think I must say this, there are a lot of things going through our mind. I don't think we have done everything perfectly.
Right.
So the reason we wanted to do this is we wanted to make sure that we get the crowd of the Bangladeshi community come attend the janazah, and a lot of people work during the daytime. Even though we would expect that everyone would try to attend, but it's not always possible. We appreciate that. So we wanted to ensure that most of the Bangladeshis people, because they wanted to attend his janazah, they could attend on that night. That was the only reason we wanted to do it on Thursday night, so that we can complete the burial on Friday.
How many people attended the janazah?
So I believe more than 300 people.
Oh, mashallah.
Yeah. Okay. So also, just to add a bit more, Imam Uzair actually came to the graveyard and he performed another janazah there, and we had around more than 200 people there as well.
Okay, so another janazah salat at the cemetery.
At the cemetery we had another one, because he agreed to come, and he was going to do a prayer. So there were a few people who missed the janazah the night before, and I think, again, with my limited knowledge, I was told that you should perform a janazah and bury the mayat straight away. So we thought that there's no harm. Look, again,
that is true. I mean, it depends on circumstances.
So we decided to have another janazah, and whoever missed out on the night before, prayed for him on that afternoon.
So... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. No, you go, mate.
So I just want to highlight the support of the Bangladeshi community for the brother, but also the Australian community
look, I think, brother, one thing I have ensured, he is firstly from Bangladesh. I mean, okay, let me take a step back. I think he's a Muslim. So, and then he is from Bangladesh, and then he's now an Australian and living happily in Australia for the last 10 years. So I have ensured that, all the people in Brisbane have been devastated, because I think they have been putting themselves in his shoes, right? They were thinking that it could be him, her, or anyone in our family. So the Australian community has been very supportive, especially Brisbane. Like I've been getting messages from, if I give you a few examples, like on the day I've been getting messages from all the people that have actually helped him to get this house up and running, and all the community members have been sending me messages because they have probably seen my name in a lot of media, and people offering donations and their services. Financially, with work from their professional stuff. So I've been getting a lot of messages. People have been even sending me messages making sure that I am okay. So yes, including the Bangladeshi community and the Muslim community in Brisbane and even outside of Brisbane, the Australian community have been immensely supportive, and that means a lot for us, and that has made it a lot easier for us to get through
these
this
types
difficult
of tragic situations brings out the best in the people.
That's right.
And we're not differentiating from religion or just human beings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Human
That's
beings.
exactly right.
And that's what
right.
it's all about. I mean, I'm not surprised you're saying that. I'm not surprised, because we've seen this many times as different tragedies that happen around Australia, and the wider community comes out, which is a great testament to all of us.
It is exactly right.
And also, just on that note, when Haji Hassan, he pointed out a point before, that this brother's mind frame before the tragedy had happened was that he was probably in one of his best moments of his life. He's moving into a house. He's got a son that's coming of age. He probably feels like he's achieving something in life, but also it's very important that, and another thing that the Australian community, how you just said that they put themselves in his shoes, we need to realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can take us at any time. Yeah, and it doesn't matter where.
I just want to come in on the wider community. Now, I watch news. This type of thing is happening every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Yes. And if you do watch a few of the news during the day, you'll see there was a car chase last night, there was a car chase this morning. That's why they brought helicopters in, because the police can't handle it on the floor, on the ground. Okay, number one. Number two, state government, they need to change the law. There's got to be something done here. It's happening too often. Innocent people here are being hurt, maimed and killed. Innocent people here. And we've got characters like what happened here with our brother all over the show. Either be drugs, either be alcohol, either be domestic violence. This is happening. I think the state government, they got a bit to answer for. Queensland police, you can't blame them. Their hands are tied. They go with what happens with the law. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
So these are the questions that should be put to the government. When we know that our time is up, we accept that. And we plan, but Allah's a better planner. But there is a but there. I'm sorry, there's a but there.
No.
That innocent people are being hurt, as I said, and it shouldn't happen.
SubhanAllah. I think you were also referring to, there was a high-speed chase on the Gold Coast as well, with a high ace or something along that lines as well.
There was.
I heard of that
that's
as well.
happening everywhere.
Yeah.
We've got characters on the Gold Coast too.
Yeah.
SubhanAllah. Let's go back to our brother here, Max.
Yeah, so I think you're absolutely right, and I think this time I personally am taking this very seriously, because I think I've lost one of my friends, one of my brothers. So I've said the same thing to all the news reporters as well, whether they ask me whether it's going to be a catalyst, as whether if it's a catalyst, it's we need to make sure that the law needs to be more strict on people, against those people who actually do this. The serial offenders, repeated offenders. That's probably another thing.
We don't want his death to be in vain.
That's exactly
we
right.
have to now, it has to serve a purpose in a sense where something can be changed.
Exactly right.
Now, I don't know who you speak to, any government officials?
No, I haven't spoken to any of the government officials yet. Yeah, just
so
the reporters.
what we need to do and support you, that we need to direct you in the right direction to some of these so-called politicians that may carry some weight that may make a change.
Yeah, and look, I would love to do that to make roads safer for the people who are still alive, like, for our community.
Ameen.
Yes, I think that's very important.
Okay, let's go forward now. The janazah's finished. How's the mother? How's the children now? How are they coping? You've got a house, nobody in it. You've got all that thing that was being planned that now has come to a halt. So guide us through the next part of it.
Okay, so basically...
And fast track it.
Yeah, so we got the wife and the son straight away, and they're actually living with us at the moment.
Beautiful.
So that they can be looked after. So she has now agreed to move into the house, and we are working on it to get them moving into the new house. Look, she's devastated, but we are trying to explain to her that she has to be strong for the son, to make sure that she raises her son in the way that her husband wanted to. So she's already thinking positively. I've seen her getting stronger in the last 2 days.
Was she a stay-at-home mum before?
No, she is a registered nurse. So she has been working, and her workplace and Shahid's workplace have been very supportive in every way they could. They have actually come to visit the family from both their workplace, and they have been very supportive as well. So yes, she's still got a job, and they have given her as much time she needs to recover from this and get back to work when she's ready.
Okay. Adrian. What was their financial situation? Did they own the house? Did they borrow it, like normal young couples would borrow and pay their house over 5 or 10 years or whatever? I don't want to know the personal stuff. You don't have to say it. But for us to maybe get the word out there for support in some way, I don't know. I'm only just, I don't want to open it up. But of course, at the end of the day, people need to know what they can do, what they can't do, what they need to do. Can you light us on that?
Definitely no. So
okay.
Look, it's just like another general Australian, right? So he had a mortgage on the house. They must have put a deposit for the house, and they have a mortgage on the house. Shahid's look, he used to look after his family very well, but it's not that he had a lot of money that he could have actually paid the home in 2-3 years. No, not like that. They were actually planning to have a life like any other Australians would do, work and pay off the home as they go, live in the house. That's what they were planning on.
Right.
Just one last thing: has he got any family that are coming over from Bangladesh to Australia?
No, his parents are quite aged at the moment, and they are actually not in a great state after they have heard the news, because Shahid was the youngest child in the family. So they're coping. So the brother and sister, Shahid's brother and sister, are in Bangladesh, and they are actually supporting the parents. But I've heard that Sister Janat's sister and brother-in-law and their kids are actually trying to get the visa to come over here. So we have contacted a couple of friends who have connection with the immigration, and they would try to fast-track the process so that they can come and support her as soon as possible.
Yes. Nice. Alhamdulillah, that's very good. That's very
beautiful.
Good. So they've got furniture, they've got everything, have they? Or
yes, look, they have got some, but they were living in a 2-bedroom unit at the moment, and they've been living in that house for almost 8-9 years now. So they were actually planning to upgrade a lot of the furnitures, as you would usually do.
Like you house, yeah. So okay, let's put it out there, Adrian.
Yeah.
Let's put it out there. So they've got a fridge, they've got a washing machine, is that you said?
Yeah, so good guys.
Got that,
so the good guys at Castledine has kindly donated the washing machine.
Alhamdulillah.
So they called me yesterday, and they've called me that they do not have to pay anything for the washing machine. They will donate it.
So they have a fridge and all that sort of stuff?
So they have actually ordered a fridge as well. So they will have to pay for the fridge, but the washing machine has been donated by the good guys at Castledine.
Alhamdulillah. And so...
I run a charity call Islamic Care Queensland.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if they're collecting funds or whatever, but we'd like to donate $2,000.
MashaAllah.
Either they use it for themselves or they buy furniture. We'll donate $2,000.
MashaAllah.
Okay?
Alhamdulillah. The house is completely finished.
And I put it out to everyone else to get in contact with Max. And I put it out to all the charities. We don't want all your money, but we do want support in some way to help our brother, his family, to at least not pay the house up, at least get on their feet and be a little bit comfortable. They don't have a husband. She doesn't have a husband now, okay? And the child doesn't have a father. So I think it's up to the community. It's up to all the regular charities that are around here in Queensland to support our sister in need right now. And this is what we call real charity. Real charity. Max?
Yes, that's
you accept
exactly,
that?
yeah, exactly correct.
Will you take donations from all the charities?
I would, yes.
So is there some way Adrian, we can put their number and name up there?
We can put the number, the name up there, and we'll also put Brother Maxi's number on there. But I just want to make something very, like, I just want to highlight a point here. So myself becoming a father very, very soon in 3 weeks, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. You know, hearing the story that the wife is going to have to raise the child all by herself. For me, I think about my wife raising the child by herself, and the child, I can't even imagine at the moment. Like I'm thinking about it and I'm feeling it in my heart. That's why I've been a little bit quiet, is because I feel the family's loss.
We can see the emotion on.
100%. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking you're sitting in the wrong spot. Subhanallah, because the audience is to see this.
For me, it's just
the sympathy.
But hang on, he's not good looking. That's why he's turned his head this way.
It's more of the belly. But I really feel for the wife. And as a father to be, and you know, you don't want to leave another partner in that situation. And so I think what Haji Hassan has just said, I think it's very, very important, and kudos and alhamdulillah to the good guys in Castledine. Please support them. They didn't have to do that, but they did that out of the goodness of their heart, and a little contribution goes a long way. You might think it's $5, you might think it's $10, it's nothing, but the fact that you're supporting the sister, it means a lot to them to have that kind of support, because I can't even imagine what they're going through at the moment. You know, I'm sitting here thinking, when you were saying, when I asked you that question about how did you feel,
he was devastated. He said,
horrible.
He was in, when he said he didn't know what he was thinking, he was actually in shock. That's what you call shock. And I think all of us would be in shock. You know. That's exactly but right. Inshallah, Allah will give you strength. Allah will give the family strength. And then we have a very good community out here. When the times of need, the community will rally. We're not talking about charities. We're talking about charities. We're talking about individuals and people that want to help. We're not asking for everything, but everybody. Many hands make light work.
Haji Hassan, I just want to come in quickly as well, because what I'm going to try to do now is going to relate it to the situation that Haji Hassan had on the weekend as well. Very simple, straightforward question. Do you think we as Muslims, all of us, need to have our wills up to date?
Our what?
Our wills. Based on your situation and based on the post that you had on the weekend.
Look, there is no doubt about that. Time can finish tomorrow. And a will is part of our Islam. It's part of our deen. You know, at the end of the day, you know, we have a responsibility in Australia to have a will. If you don't have a will, then you could lose it to the state. You have no responsibility. Well, the probably was not responsibility. We don't have any say. In Australia, you don't have any say if you don't have a will. You know, and especially when we have a mixed marriage situation, when, you know, but I don't really want to bring that up now, but of course, for your answer, yes, we definitely need a will. And maybe in this case here, maybe the brother didn't have a will. It don't matter if you're 18 or 88. I think, yes, we need a will. Yes.
SubhanAllah, so there's any organisation out there as well that I remember in Sydney it was a very common thing that they'd have on weekends, they'd run a program.
Yes.
Some lawyers would get involved, even if it's just like a free service or just to sort of make sure, and they'll make it Sharia compliant or whatever compliant it needs to be. You know what I mean? So that at least someone has got a document when there is a situation where it does come up. They have the ability to sort of
100%.
get things organised a little bit better.
No, it's a good comment you made, Kaz. You're good for something, brother. That's very good.
Shukran jazilan. Thank you.
No.
Alhamdulillah.
We don't want to be too sad today.
Yeah.
We got Brother Maxi trying to cheer him up here.
So going forward, Haji Hassan is very powerfully, he's went out there, he says, he very powerfully said to the community, gave us a challenge to support this cause. How can people support?
I think we have opened up a GoFund page, and Alhamdulillah, you'd be amazed to know that before 24 hours we had raised over $50,000. As of this morning, I know I could see that it was moving still slowly, but over the weekend people have been busy, but we were close to 85k as of this morning. We have asked all our friends to actually share it with their work colleagues and all the corporates that they work for.
Nice.
And look, at the end of the day, it's as Brother Adrian said, like Cass said, that it's not about how much you are donating, right? It's about the intention.
That's right.
It's about the intention that you want to support someone in need with whatever you can. So the volume makes a big difference. So the more we can spread, the volume gets bigger and people can help.
Of course.
Yeah.
I can tell you one thing that's just, it has been a learning experience for me, eye-opener. One thing I know that we plan for so many things, like, 5 houses, 2 cars, 5 cars, like, expensive cars, and I want my son to be a doctor, engineer, and they're doing that, but it is just a matter of time that it will probably happen, but you won't be there to see it. So that's one thing I have understood. Life is too short. You just have to be ready anytime. So, but the most important thing is actually helping the people who need the help. And being there is probably one of the most important things in life. And through all the du'as and advices I've been hearing from the Maulanas and the Imams in the last 4 days especially, they have been talking about giving to the poor and the needy ones. So that's something that we always have to do. And that has been one thing gives me peace thinking, like, finally 3 days before this happened, I was telling my wife, these are the things you need to do if something happens to me. Being a young dad, we don't tend to think that it could happen to us until it happens to me. I was actually telling her, look, this time I'm actually planning to go to Bangladesh to visit my family, and I'm going to talk to my parents about if I die, I need to be buried here. Please do not ask my wife to send my body back to Bangladesh. And these are the things we never talk about. And then it gets into that position in a dilemma where you have family back home, and there's confusion, and people want the body to go repatriated back to your home country, to the family. But I think we need to remember that we need to actually bury the mayat as soon as possible. That's one thing we need to encourage people more. So I was actually telling my mom actually maybe a week before that, this time when I come to Bangladesh, I will speak to you guys and take permission from you guys, so that even I will talk to my mother-in-law to do the same. So I was telling her that this is what you need to do. If I die, you need to access my super, blah, blah, blah. But actually seeing the support from the community gives me pleasure and comfort that if something happens to me, I have a community that will stand up to support my wife and my kids. Inshallah.
SubhanAllah. And I think when it comes to the Australian community in general, I mean, we're looking at it from a point of view of just one organisation, Human Appeal, that SubhanAllah supports 10,000 orphans from Australia alone. I mean, obviously there's other organisations
Yes.
organizations like iCare that probably does a lot more local work, I would assume,
More-
Haji
more
Hassan.
local, yes, yes.
So there's organizations out there that we need to get behind because we need the support.
Ameen.
Muslims need the support, not only in this country,
Yeah,
they need the support
everywhere.
overseas as well. But yeah, I think, let's sweep in front of our own door first when it comes to certain
Ameen.
things.
Ameen.
Definitely to help
Yeah.
out wherever we can, Shukran jazilan, Brother Maxi, for coming in today. Subhanallah.
But
Thank you.
But mashallah. But before we end off, I just want to make a few little bits of announcements. So what we'll do, we'll if you do want to contact us and get in contact with Brother Maxi, there will be an email in the description below, and then we'll be able to pass your contact on to Brother Maxi. Also, in the links below as well, there will be links to the GoFundMe pages, as well as. And then also, just want to keep a reminder out there that there is a mosque open day that is coming up on October the 26th. Now, we heard from Brother Maxi that the support that the family has received from the Australian community, I think this is another brilliant opportunity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted us, is to open up our mosque doors to the Australian community as well, because, Haji can probably explain a little bit better, coming from the Gold Coast mosque, is that people do want to visit the mosque. Yes. And this is a perfect opportunity for them.
I think most mosques are open on the 26th, inshallah, and we are down the Gold Coast.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
I mean, last year we got about 400 people through there.
MashaAllah.
MashaAllah. I think it's a day where people have an opportunity to come through the main doors of the mosque. Or the main gates of the centre, wherever the centre is, and experience something different in their life. We're not asking them to convert to Islam.
No, that's
We're
right.
not asking them to become Muslim. What we're saying is, have a look at us. We're no different than you.
That's right.
We do pray to a God. We do have a situation where we have a religion that it may be a little bit different, but at the end of the day, we respect each other.
That's exactly
and I think
correct.
that's important. And, I hope all mosques will have a sausage sizzle or something that you can unite the community. It's not Bunnings.
No.
It'll be the mosque.
Yeah.
Sausage sizzle.
100%. And touching back on, this is all about unity, because we are all Australian citizens. We are all Australian residents, and we are all here.
And in the case of Max's Islam that passed away, the wider communities come together.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly right.
The wider communities come together. Alhamdulillah, the Muslim community is there, mashallah.
Yeah.
But the wider community has come together, and that shows humanity.
Yes.
That's
That
exactly
shows
right.
humanity. And that's what we're all about.
Yeah, 100%. So for all those Muslim brothers and sisters out there that are listening, go down to your local mosque, help them on that day, because it is going to be a busy day. I know at Slacks Creek Mosque, our local mosque, or my local mosque, they're starting from 10 a.m. all the way down to 4 p.m.
But Adrian, I'll say something better than that. You all live next to a non-Muslim.
Exactly.
Tell your neighbour, tell your neighbour across the road, and tell them to come along. Come along and have a sausage sizzle and look at the mosque.
Subhanallah.
And meet some Muslims.
Alhamdulillah.
Because not all of them are bad.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. And to all the non-Muslims out there, please come on down. Because the thing is like, we're all Australians and we all want to be together. We all want to be united. But like I said, 26th of October, Australian Mosque Open Day. Also in the links below is the GoFundMe page.
Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. And again, if you want to contact Brother Maxi, there is an email in the link below. Once again, Jazakallah for listening to us. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, share, and pass it on to all of your friends. Any closing words from anybody before we...
Let's start with Max. He's our visitor.
Oh, look, I would like to thank you guys for inviting me and spreading the word and the GoFund page. It means a lot. It shows that we all care for each other. I think that's very important.
I'd like to say something. I want to congratulate you for standing up for the family, number one.
Thank you.
Standing up for the Muslim community, number 2.
100%.
Right, okay, and being balanced in your talks on media. Being balanced,
Thank
and
you.
that's very important. It's not a one way highway.
Yeah.
And inshallah, and may sabr go to the family.
Ameen.
Okay, and inshallah, I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him Jannah.
Ameen.
Inshallah. Amen.
For those.
SubhanAllah. Shukran jazilan. Thank you again, Brother Maxi. I
Alhamdulillah.
really appreciate you coming in, taking time off from work to come in and spend some time with us. Our du'as are with you. Our du'as are with Shahid's family, inshallah. May Allah make things easy for the family. And subhanAllah, you've always welcomed me at the Kalamia Live studio.
Alhamdulillah. And like I said, we are a podcast by the community, for the community. So once again, Jazakallah khair for coming on in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.